Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast today. You know, a new season begins for the East Cleveland Theater. Its executive director, Teresa Tucker, and a member of the Board of Trustees, Gene Gillett, are here to talk about what to expect. In late September, U.S. Attorney Eric Holder will be in Cleveland, and attorneys Melody Shakarian and Adrian Thompson of the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland will tell us why that's going to happen. And later on the broadcast today, Douglas Bennett of Medical Mutual will talk about the company's annual Breast Cancer Awareness Brunch. We've got a good broadcast schedule for you today. Good morning again, everyone. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. Got two good people here. Teresa Tucker, who's executive director of the East Cleveland Theater. She's sitting next to me, and Gene Gillett. I'm sorry, Gene. She's a member of the Board of Trustees of the East Cleveland Theater. Good to have you both on the broadcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give us a little background, Gene Gillett. You're a member of the Board of Trustees and have had that position for some years now.
Yes, but my involvement goes back to when the theater began, February 1968. At that time, we had a changing community in East Cleveland, and the administration of the city went to Chris Pace and asked if she could bring about a theater or a group that would bring together the people, so that we could see that people could live together in harmony, and with the help, the advice of the Jelliffs, she did found the East Cleveland Theater. And we started out as a chorus, a singing chorus first, and a dramatic group. And we performed in different venues, in churches and in the YMCA and the library. And the
And you are still going on strong. Well, let's bring it up to date, and let's talk a little bit about what you view, Teresa Tucker, your executive director. What do you see the mission of the East Cleveland Theater here in 2012?
The mission of the theater is to provide wholesome entertainment for families and children and the entire community. One of the things that we're most proud of is that we have a great deal of diversity in the theater. We allow people of all ages and of all ethnicities to participate in the theater. In fact, the youngest person that has participated is 3 years old, and the oldest person is in his 80s. So the wonderful thing about East Cleveland Theater is that you don't have to have any experience. We encourage anyone who's ever had a thought about being on stage and being in a theater to come and join us, because we consider ourselves a teaching theater, which means that all you need to bring is a willingness to learn, the ability to participate to the best of your ability, and the ability to be loyal to your role.
Gene Gillett, Shakespeare once said that the whole world is a stage and each one of us plays a part. That's pretty much in keeping with what Teresa just mentioned, isn't it? That we all have something to bring.
Yes, and I think our theater was unique in its day because we began with colorblind casting, and it wasn't just an integrated cast, but we had integrated families in our productions. And I remember very well when we did the Fiddler on the Roof. We had Tevye was black, his wife was white, Grandma Zettel was black, the rabbi was Japanese American, and the three daughters and their suitors and all of the rest of us who were in the village, we were various assorted colors.
All playing Russian Jews.
All playing Russian Jews, and we all looked
Well, that's what theater is about. Teresa, bring us up to speed now. Well, what's happening this year? What do you see for this season, and when do you begin your season?
Our season begins October 13th, and I am so pleased that we're beginning our season with a young playwright, and her name is Andrea Richardson, and who happens to work here, and we will be doing her play, The Dream and the Journey, a Hollywood story. This is a wonderful play for anyone who's ever had a dream, and it shows you all of the problems and issues that can arise in pursuing your dream. So it's a special play for anyone who's dreaming now, for children, for young adults, and it's especially a great play for parents to bring their young people to.
I know you're impressed with Andrea Richardson. We are impressed with her here at News Channel 5.
Very much so.
She's upstairs today, probably in the sales department, one of our employees here at News Channel 5 in our sales.
I think you'll enjoy her production if you come to the theater.
That's October the 13th.
October 13th through November 4th.
Yeah, and give us your address where you're located. I'm going to put a phone number on the screen.
14108 Euclid Avenue.
14108 Euclid Avenue in East Cleveland. And I've got a phone number we're going to put on the screen there. You see it, 216-851-8721. And more information on everything that we're talking about here. What do you envision for the future, Jean Gillette? What do you envision for the future for this historic theater, which has been there since 1968?
I would just hope that we could continue attracting more young people. There's a lot more competition in finding people in theaters. There's so many more theaters available today, and ours is considered amateur, but it's a wonderful opportunity for young people to, as Teresa said, to have a start. I would hope we could continue.
And you're always looking for people to get involved with the theater as well.
Yes, as well as volunteering to help.
So the world is a stage, as Shakespeare said, and we all play a part. And you're telling folks that they can come and they can play parts.
They can come and play a part.
East Cleveland Theater.
Yes.
Well, we're all looking for a stage. I'm looking for a stage sometimes. I got a little one here, but sometimes we expand out and do a little bit of theatrical stuff, you know, as we say in the theater. I've graced your stage a couple of times, and
I know.
It's always good to be with you. So thank you so much for being on the broadcast. Once again, your opening play is by Andrea Richardson. What's the name of that play?
The Dream and the Journey, a Hollywood story.
A wonderful playwright, Andrea Richardson. October the 13th at the East Cleveland Theater, which is located on Euclid Avenue in the city of East Cleveland. Thank you so much for being on the broadcast. Thank you, Jean Gillette, for what you did all those years ago in helping get started and keeping them going.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Okay, and thank you, Teresa Tucker, for being on the broadcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, it is our pleasure. It is our pleasure. Once again, you may phone 851-8721. More information on everything we're talking about. I'm going to take a break in a moment. We return. We're going to talk about our fundraiser for the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. But first, these words, especially for you. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope today. Glad to have you aboard. The Legal Aid Society of Cleveland hosts its annual fundraising event on September the 28th, and the board president, Attorney Adrienne Thompson, is here, and the Director of Development, Attorney Melanin Shakarian, will tell us. She's here as well, and they're going to talk about this event and about National Pro Bono Week coming up in October. Good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Melanin Shakarian and Adrienne Thompson. Melanie, let's begin with you. You're the Executive Director. What's the mission of the Legal Aid Society?
Sure, I'm the development director, and you know, Legal Aid, we've been around since 1905, and we are the law firm for low-income individuals in Northeast Ohio. So we help more than 26,000 people a year through a variety of civil legal cases, but we help provide access to the justice system.
Because everyone has a right to be defended or have an attorney.
We think so, yeah.
Even if you cannot afford one.
Yes.
Yeah. So National Pro Bono Week comes up. Why don't you, we hear that phrase all the time, pro bono. What's that mean?
Pro bono is services provided by attorneys, the private attorneys that provide free legal services to low-income residents of the city of Cleveland, as well as residents who have other legal issues.
Yeah. So how are you going to observe this week? And it's coming up in October. The dates of it. How do you observe this time period?
We have 1,800 pro bono attorneys in the city of Cleveland that help with Legal Aid Society, as well as 200 law students who also provide legal services to the low-income clients. What we do is we have a full week of activities where we have clinics, we have discussions, just a number of events where we celebrate the pro bono services and we celebrate the Legal Aid Society.
Now tell me how, Melanie, tell me how Eric Holder, the Attorney General of the United States, fits into all of this.
Well, you know, he's the Attorney General of the United States, so sort of the chief attorney for all of us to look to, and we're so honored and proud that he's chosen to come to Cleveland to be the speaker at our annual event. We just learned a few weeks ago that he's coming, and so we really hope to see a lot of people from the legal community there. Adrian's firm, for instance, Tafston, Tenias & Hollister, where Adrian's a partner, is one of our sponsors, and we have a lot of other law firms and, you know, attending and helping us.
So you got a big do. I've got my notes here. It's going to be Friday, September the 28th at the Renaissance Cleveland Hotel, the big hotel in Public Square. What do you want to come out of all of this?
Well, I think that we want the community to know about the need. Every year we receive about 18,000 requests for legal aid services. The Legal Services Corporation, the federal corporation where we get money from, said at least 80% of the legal needs of the low income and the are not met. So 80% of the people we serve, their needs aren't met. Out of the 18,000 contacts we get, we can only serve about half of that. And 70% of all of our clients are women and children. So I think what we want everyone to know, there is a need out there. Because of the way the economy has been going the last couple of years, that need is growing. Poverty is increasing in Cuyahoga County and Lake, Lorain, Ashtabula, and Geauga counties. Those are the 5 counties we serve. So there is a need. We could use support from the community. We can use support from the private bar, and they're doing a great job. We just want to know that there is a need out there, and we're trying to serve that need.
As I was telling Melanie and Adrian just before we started this broadcast, I said that I get phone calls all the time of people who need legal advice, and they ask me, and I says, well, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give any legal advice, but I know people who can, and if they cannot afford it, I send them to you, the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland.
But it's tough because, you know, there is no civil right to counsel. We have a great democracy here in the United States, but there's a few loopholes still, and, you know, there's a right to counsel in criminal cases, but not civil cases, so that's why we're a nonprofit. We're trying to meet the need. Can't help everyone, but we do make significant impact on the community. Last year alone, just because of the cases that we handled, we brought $40 million of economic benefit back into Northeast Ohio.
This is a fundraiser when you're bringing Eric Holder on Friday, September the 28th. It's a luncheon, so I will assume it's at the noon hour or thereabouts at the Renaissance Hotel in Cleveland. Now, are there tickets available?
Yes, we're actually sold out of tables, but there are a few individual tickets left. So if folks would like to come, please check out our website. Give us a call. We'd love to see a few more people there.
I've got your website on the screen as we are speaking right there. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, you can see their website, lasclev.org/2012 event. You see it at the bottom of the screen. Or you can telephone 861-5217. People can still get more information on what we're talking about. This is vital to you. I mean, for you to be on the board, you've been there for several years now. Why are you there?
My family would have been eligible for legal aid services when I was growing up as a kid. My first job was with the Legal Aid Society 25 years ago. I was at the central office on 57th and Woodland. That's where I started my career. Legal Aid is just a great organization. They have 50 attorneys. The average number of years that the legal aid attorneys have served with legal aid are 20 years. So it's just a wonderful organization with wonderful attorneys, wonderful leadership with Colleen Collar and Melanie. So it's just a great organization, and it's a needed organization in every community, but especially our community.
And everybody has a right to the advice of a lawyer.
That's what we believe.
That's what you believe, and that's why you've been there for some years now working with the Legal Aid
it's
Society.
very important. It's why I went to law school.
Do you ever get walk-ins on your office on West 6th Street?
We do. We get quite a few walk-ins. We also have clinics in various neighborhoods of Northeast Ohio. But, you know, a lot of people just call us to ask for help. So there's a whole variety of ways that we reach out to our community. We do everything in partnership with other nonprofits here in town. We're lawyers. We know how to do the lawyer thing. We're not social workers. We're not teachers. So we have to work in partnership with so many other agencies. We bring that important value added.
Okay. Once again, it is Friday, September the 28th at the Renaissance Cleveland Hotel. The guest speaker will be Eric Holder, the United States Attorney General, the top legal officer in our land. He's going to be speaking at the luncheon, and you may telephone 861-5217. You see at the bottom of the screen, or go to the website for more information on everything we've been talking about. And we've been chatting with Adrian Thompson, who's a board president of the Legal Aid Society, and with Melanie Chikarian, who's director of development for the Legal Aid Society. Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
My pleasure. This is what we do. Bring these kinds of great people onto the broadcast here on News Channel 5. I got to take a break right now, but when we come back, we're going to focus on breast cancer awareness. We'll have a discussion on that But first, these words. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope today. Medical Mutual hosts its annual Breast Cancer Awareness Brunch in early October, and the Director of Community Outreach for Medical Mutual, my good friend Douglas Bennett, is here to talk more about the event and what we can expect to see this year. Hey, Douglas.
Good afternoon, Leon. How are you? Good to have you.
Oh, good to be with you. I always think of Doug because that's my middle name.
Yes,
Douglas.
it is.
We've
yes,
talked
it is.
about that
yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Yeah. Well, talk a little bit about Medical Mutual's focus on breast cancer awareness.
Well, you know, honestly, Leon, this program started really small. It started with Deborah Green, who we actually are naming the award after, who started just a very small T because she was a survivor in our cafeteria at Medical Mutual, and it's grown to this wonderful event. So we are trying to recognize breast cancer survivors and members of their family and people who know people with breast cancer, and just have them come out and enjoy an afternoon.
Yeah. Medical Mutual, of course, is in the healthcare business.
Yes, we are.
So you're always conscious of health concerns.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean, and obviously it is a terrible disease, and we want to make sure that people are aware that we do care about people who do have this terrible disease, and that, you know, it's an opportunity for them to come out and just kind of share their stories with other people who might actually have the disease in families.
Yeah. Now, my notes tell me that you're going to have your big event Saturday, October the 6th, at 11 o'clock at La Center.
Yes, we are.
In Westlake.
Correct. We actually have vendors coming from 10 to 11, and we have people who are going to sell jewelry. We got people from the American Cancer Society. We have people who are selling hats. We have different vendors who are going to be there, and so we're asking people to come around 10 o'clock and enjoy the vendors, and then stay for the program. It starts at 11.
You mentioned the word hat, and I see my notes here. There's a word here that they told me to ask you, hatitude.
Yes.
Bring your hatitude, not your attitude, but your hatitude. Now, what is hatitude?
Well, again, because we want, as I say, people with breast cancer, you know, sometimes are going through a lot, but they also have this strong will and this strong positive energy. So they always kind of have a little bit of an attitude, but it's nice that they are able to kind of bring that to the table. So we're asking people who are coming to put on their best hats, and we're including men too. So, you know, if you know of somebody, a male who actually might have cancer as well, we're asking them to come to put on their best chapeau and come out and enjoy.
I've got a couple of hats which I cock to the side in a kind of a rakish kind of a way when I go to parties.
Okay, there you go. We'd love to have you.
Bring something like that.
That'd be great.
I don't usually get it on the air, but I can bring it to a party or an event like that. And once again, it's going to be Saturday, October the 6th at 11 o'clock. Now, how can people get there? Are there tickets available? Or
actually, it's a free event, Leon. All they have to do is go visit our website, medmutual.com, and go online, and they can actually register for the event.
Yeah. Why do you see this as so vital for Medical Mutual to be involved in this breast cancer awareness?
Well, again, it's such a terrible disease, and there are many people who are afflicted by it, and I think sometimes they don't realize that there is a community out there that helps support them. And again, as Medical Mutual, as a healthcare provider or health insurer, we want to make sure that, you know, they know that they have a company that actually supports them and when they are going through this disease.
You're going to have a lot of events. You had mentioned there are going to be tables set up there, aside from the brunch, but there'll be tables and other events taking place where people can make purchases or see things.
Absolutely. Again, not only with just the vendors that we're going to have there, but it's going to be a great event. We're honoring Judge Ellen Connolly this year as the Deborah Green Service Award winner.
Yeah, and she's also the president of the Cuyahoga County Council.
She is, and she was very involved with the Higher Breast Cancer Fund, so we're recognizing her efforts in the breast cancer community.
Yeah, Ellen's a very good friend. We went to Bowling Green State University together. Known each other since freshman year.
See, even more reason for you to come to see
good friends. Well, I run into Ellen all the time, but she's a wonderful, wonderful person. You are trying to keep this in the forefront of the public's mind about breast cancer awareness.
Yes. Yes. We recognize that there is no cure So we want to make sure that people still are aware of, again, the fact that this disease is out there, and the fact that, you know, we're here to support those survivors and those breast cancer patients.
And if it is caught early, we can deal with this disease.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Early detection, and obviously we are very concerned about taking care of yourself and health and awareness, and make sure that you do take the steps necessary to combat it. So, as you said, you know, if you get there in early detection, that always helps, you know, fight this disease.
Yeah. Things are going well for you at Medical Mutual, I know, as Community Outreach Director, aren't they, Douglas Bennett?
It is going very well. Thank you very much. You know, it's been great to be back in Cleveland, and again, Medical Mutual is a great company.
Yeah, Douglas stepped away for a couple of years, went to Washington, D.C., as I recall, but now back.
Yes, and happy to be back.
And doing wonderful, wonderful work. You want everybody to be aware of this, and we can just come. This is, once again, a free event on Saturday,
October 6th.
October the 6th at 11 o'clock at La Center Conference and Banquet Facility. That's in Westlake, and the address is 25,777 Detroit Road. Or you can go to medmutual.com, get more information on everything we're talking about. And there's a telephone number I'm going to put on the screen of 697-7852 in the 216 area code. You see all of that information down here at the bottom of the screen.
And if you don't mind me saying one more thing, and we're actually very honored to have Kim Whitley, who is, as you know, a native Clevelander, to come back to be our Mistress of Ceremonies for the event.
And she's a big Hollywood star.
Yes, she is.
We've known Kim for a long time, and know her parents as well, too.
Yes.
Okay. Good to see you, Doug.
Good seeing you.
Take care, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have Doug Bennett on the broadcast. One of our good people here in Northeast Ohio. Another good person of Northeast Ohio, Marsha Maccabee of the Urban League. She has words of wisdom, a commentary after this. Good to have you with us on Kaleidoscope. We got Marsha Maccabee in our brand new set, I should add. I should have said that at the top of the broadcast. Our brand new set. Good to have Marsha Maccabee of the Urban League.
Yeah, look at this, our new living room, Leon.
Yes, so it's real comfortable here. All we need is a cup of coffee or a glass of water, I suppose.
Water. That was good, Leon.
Okay, that was good, Leon.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's good to be here today. I've got something exciting coming up in October. On October the 2nd, State Senator Shirley Smith is going to be working in partnership with us, and we are going to gather a bunch of women over at the Urban League, walk over to Cuyahoga County Board of Elections, and we're going to kick off the early voting at 1 o'clock on the 2nd of October.
It is a privilege to vote in this country, and we should exercise that privilege.
It is indeed. It is indeed. It's a responsibility as well, and you know, it's huge. We have to be involved in our civic engagement, because if we want things that are not like we want them to be a change, we want things to be better, we have to get engaged in the process.
Always the philosophy of the Urban League, ever since the very beginning, as I've said so many times, is to get out the vote, to realize that is part of democracy.
Absolutely.
Is voting.
That's
in fact,
right.
Democracy actually means the people rule.
Exactly.
It means, that's what it means. Things are going well for you at the Urban League?
Things are going well. Things are going well. We're really engaged around this voting thing. Is huge. We're trying to make sure people are registered. If they've moved, that they understand that they have to re-register, that they understand the things they need to take with them to vote at the poll ID and so forth. So we're just all over that.
Okay. That's going to do it for us. We'll say so long.
So long.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.